close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Star Sport podcast. My name is Jack McCarran of the Southern Star and I'm joined as always by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. For regular listeners and viewers of the Star Sport podcast, you might notice that me and Kieran have been wearing the same clothes for 3 weeks in a row. But that is through the power of time travel. And
times are tough, Joe.
times are tough. Not time travel, no, times are just tough. So obviously we recorded several of these podcasts in a row because of summer holidays. And on today's show we'll be chatting to local soccer player James Hickey, who is following a different path to most who chase the dream in England by joining non-league side FC United of Manchester. James' story is incredibly interesting and his attitude is inspiring. I was sat in the room when he spoke to Kieran and I was in awe of him considering he's only 17 years old. Kieran, James is a young man with his head firmly screwed on.
He is, Jack. He was a very impressive interview, to be honest with you, for a 17-year-old. I was very interested in his story when I first heard about it, just to see a young fella here from West Cork head across Channel to kind of, I suppose, chase the soccer dream. And as a Man United fan myself, I was interested in the fact he's going to Manchester playing with FC United, and James is also a Manchester City fan, so there was that angle as well. So he's a young fella who knows what he wants, but he has, like you said, he's his head firmly screwed on. He's a plan in place for the next couple of years. Touch wood, it'll all work out for him. He's quite a talented soccer player. He's been involved with Cork City before. He was involved with Cove. He's obviously played in the West Cork Schoolboys League here with Bantry when he was younger. So he's a fella who's been in our soccer pages in the Star for years and years. And we wish him all the best as he chases the dream with FC United of Manchester, who'll be kicking off their season quite shortly, and they're in the middle of pre-season now. But before he jetted out to Manchester, he joined us here in the studio. We're delighted to be joined on the Star Sport podcast this week by James Hickey from Durrus, who is heading off on an adventure across Channel. He's signed up to FC of Manchester, otherwise known as FC United. So congrats on that first, James.
Thanks.
Before we even start about the move to Manchester, let's have a quick look at, I suppose, where you came from first. You started off with Bay Rovers, then there was Lakewood and Ballincollig, then Cork City under-17s and Cove. So you talk to us a small bit about that, about your route up so far.
Yeah, so I started playing Bay Rovers when I was 12. I didn't have any club before that. I was playing on the lawn every day as a young fella. Went to Bay Rovers, had 2 seasons at Bay Rovers, and then went to Kennedy Cup at West Cork. Went down to West Cork trials in Clonakilty, under 12, and I had made it till Christmas and then got dropped. And then under 13 went down for trials and never heard anything back. And then under 14 I made the Kennedy Cup team and drove on from there. And then I was at Kennedy Cup up in Limerick. One of the Lakewood manager seen me, so a few of us from West Cork went up. There was 2 fellas from Skibbereen, Paddy Burke and Dylan Murray, and Shawnee Sullivan and from Adjugol, and there's a good lot of West Cork fellas went up. And then playing with Lakewood, it was actually John F. Kennedy from Skib. He has a lot to do with Cork City.
Alright.
He got me a trial for City under-17s. I had the trial and then they invited me along for training because I was the year below, doing younger year. I was training with them for a good while, and then 2 years ago then, when I was training with them, I had a few years I always had a heart thing, but I never took much note of it. And then it was getting worse and worse during games and I had to keep coming off. And then when I was training with them, I had a heart operation in September and I was out till January. And then when I came back in January to start the new season at City under-17s, they came back in, so I had to redo the operation. I was out for another few months again. And I was playing at City under Liam Carney for a few months and then transferred to Cove in the summer. And I was at Cove since, a great club.
Oh, great stuff. Because even going back to Lakewood, like you were a 2-time player of the year there, and you captained the team. That's before you went to Cork City. But talk to me about the heart. Was the operation. What exactly was that? What was going on there?
Yeah, it was. The heart used to brace up out of nowhere. You could be watching TV at home and just bang go. Nearly 160 a minute, 5 or 6 beats a second. It was crazy. And if it happened in games, you just had to keep coming off, so it was a bit of a hassle. But I went to Jared Fahey, a cardiologist in Cork, and he'd actually done the same operation on Clint Dempsey over in America, and he said that other footballers like David Seaman, the goalkeeper for Arsenal, and Ronaldo had it done when he was 14 as well. So there was a lot of professionals that had it done.
Is that a condition you're born with, or something you develop, or?
He said it was an extra. He said, you have one cardiac muscle. Yeah. He said I had a double cardiac muscle, so it was kind of too strong, and it was making it go fast.
And how are things now? Is obviously everything's okay? Like, is it something that could come back again, or are you over it now? Or?
Oh, I'm over it now. Well, I still get small things every now and then, but just stay away from the coffee and monster drinks and stuff like that.
So it's obviously helped your diet, so kind of you're sticking to the good stuff. But even there about Cork City, before you went to Cove, like Cork is a great tradition of helping, I suppose, of bringing through a lot of West Cork players, like even Conor Ellis, Denzel Fernandez, Mark Buckley was there for a time, Ronan Hurley's there now from Skull. I know the underage teams have a couple of more involved, so was that an important stepping stone for you?
Oh, it was a huge stepping stone. It was massive, like from going to Bantry to Lakewood, like I thought that was amazing, and then to get the next step up again was even better, like even because you're always looking up to Mark Buckley, Denzel, Ronan, Connor, all those lads, and for having to you as well is amazing. Like.
It didn't take long then for FC of Manchester to come along. But before we talk about our FC United, and just explain FC United, they were founded in 2005 by Manchester United supporters who were opposed to the takeover of United by Malcolm Glazer, the American businessman. So FC United are on the go since May 2005. They are the largest fan-owned football club in the UK. They have crowds of up to 3,000 at their first team games. So they're a fairly big semi-professional club over in Manchester. So obviously, like I said there, James, set up by Manchester United fans, but you're a Manchester City supporter. So talk to me a small bit about that. How did you get afflicted with that?
Yeah, so my grandmother, she grew up in Manchester, and my grandfather, and they were working over there all their lives. And my grandfather in Mosside, he grew up near the main road, so he's going to all the old games. So when we were young fellas, he kind of breeded us up as City supporters. And there was a lot of tough days when I was younger, not going to school the next day if we lost to United and all that, because it's been the only Man City fan in the school. But it's better nowadays.
I was going to say that I'm a Manchester United fan, and obviously the tables have turned in the last couple of years. Kind of City have gone from strength to strength, so it's probably a good time to be a Man City fan now. Yeah,
it's a great time. I had a few games during the year. I was at Southampton back in October, and after 20 minutes it was 4-0, and then going to the Spurs game in Champions League, it was 2-2 after 10 minutes, the VAR, and every game you go to is amazing. I was at the Leicester game as well, where Company scored a screamer. So every game you go to is always unbelievable.
You packed in a couple of highlights there into last season alone. Even that game against Leicester, when Company got that goal, that's the goal you could say almost clinched the Premier League. And even that, but that game, that Champions League game was phenomenal. That was a Champions League second leg quarter final, and City thought they'd won it right at the end with Raheem Sterling's goal. So what was that like, and where were you in the stadium when all that happened?
I was behind the goal in the south stand, and next to the Spurs fans. So when Sterling scored, we were giving it all to the Spurs fans. We thought we had it. And then came up on the screen VAR, and everyone, the change of emotion was unreal, like from the noise to just complete silence. It was there. I couldn't stay for the final vicinity. I was out the door.
That's the highs and lows of football captured in 60 seconds. So let's talk about FC United and how the move came about.
Yeah, so Darren Murray, he'd be a good friend of mine. He's a very, very good manager. He's only 22 and he's on his A licence already. And I first met him after Kennedy Cup when I went to Lakewood, and he was coaching me in the first year, and I kind of stayed good friends with him since. And he texted me back in October and he said to come over during the bank holiday while I was off school and do a bit of training to see what it was like. And I couldn't believe when I know the facilities and how bigger football is in England compared to Ireland with the GA and the rugby and everything. It's like it's phenomenal over there, and I really liked it. And just the school hours over there and the football together, compared to travelling up and down the Cove, 2 hours up, 2 hours training, 2 hours down with school. Whereas in Manchester, it's in the morning, 2 hours school from 9 till 11, and then train from 12 till 2, and then you're off for the day. 5 days a week. So it's just, the setup was amazing. I went over, trained them, and I felt I fit in fairly well. The same standard as League of Ireland. So I said to Darren, would I be mad to go over? Like, would it be crazy to leave school and go over? And he said he thought I was mad at first, but when he thought of it better, he said, why not? So I said, might as well, take the chance, go over. And just went over again Easter and did another month of training and played a few games with them and got everything sorted out.
And did they offer you, because you're going in, so just to explain, Darren Murray's from Kilmichael, and he's kind of the head coach of the under-17s over, is it?
Yeah.
With FC United. So you played a couple of trial games when you went over the last time, and did they offer you a contract in, or how does it work? Like, how did they actually kind of sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, no, I said to myself that I was interested, because obviously they wouldn't think that I'd want to come over, and they wouldn't be trying to sign me when I'm living in a different country. So I just said that I'd like to come over and do the education and get it done. They said they thought I was good enough, so they were interested, and I played a few trial games. We played AFC Fylde. They played Salford, and we played them on the Wednesday, and 2 or 3 of the youth players that were playing us played for Fylde Saturday against Salford at Wembley in the playoff final, and just playing teams of that, Stockport County, all those kind of crowds. Played them in a few games. Played it against Bury College at Geek Lane, Bury Stadium. So it's all those experiences. It was great.
Because you're only 17 years old, James. I suppose, but for your development as a soccer player, football player, how important it is for you to go over now to FC United, and you've been involved in the under-19s over. How important is it for you to to progress and develop as a player and improve?
Yeah, it's huge, because like a lot of fellas in Ireland, if you're travelling up and down to Cork and Cove, and then if you don't make it 1 year, you just have to go back down and play locally. And I wanted bad enough, so I'm going to go over and give it my best shot and do the education along with it and work away and just enjoy it.
Because you mentioned education there a few times now, and that's quite important. So how does that work alongside playing for the club?
Yeah, so obviously it's only about 6 hours of school a week. It's only English, maths and sports. So you do that, only those 6 hours, and after 2 years then you can go into college after. And I did trials for Pass for Soccer to go to America in scholarship, and I got accepted into that. Stephen Murray, he runs it. So, and I said to him, because I was going to finish 6th year and go over to America then, and I said to him that I was going to FC, and I found out the diploma that I was going to get in Manchester, and he said the 2-year diploma that I get in Manchester would still qualify me for America. Superb. So after the 2 years in Manchester, I might even go to America for 4 years and do another degree over there or something.
What are you most looking forward to about playing for FC United and even moving to Manchester?
Just the kind of professionalism over there and the way things are done. It's just, even when you're playing for Cove, it feels like you're so far away from your club, and then like every League of Ireland club is 2 or 3 hours apart. I know in Dublin they're every few miles, but whereas in England, in Manchester, there's Preston, Blackburn, Wigan, City United, FC United, Salford, all so close. So everyone lives and breathes football over there.
It is a different culture there, and I think people who haven't gone over the Premier League games probably, or even English soccer games in general, probably don't understand. It really is a way of life for people over there, for football people. They do live for the weekend. I know it sounds like a cliche, but they live for their club, and especially a club like FC United, which was set up by fans who were disillusioned with the Glazers. Like, these are really, they're really passionate football people. So you're kind of going into an environment that you'll probably love. It's football 24/7, and it really means a lot to them.
Yeah, it's huge. Like, I went to one of the FC United senior games and it was over. They're playing Alfreton Town, who wouldn't be a huge team, like. And there was about 2,500 at the game. Like, I couldn't get over. I was expecting a couple of hundred, and like I went into the terrace behind the goal, and it was just non-stop singing from start to the end, and that's what made me fall in love with it even more, to try to go over, seeing the crowds and the way the fans are and everything.
And what was it like for a Man City fan to be wearing the red FC United jersey, kind of?
Yeah, well, I didn't mind it because their sponsors actually O'Neill's, so it makes it feel some bit better. But the red isn't great, alright. The away colour is blue, so that's fine. But I wear the City hat to training a lot, and the manager will be taking it off my head and throwing it at the wall.
As a 17-year-old moving to Manchester, is there any bit of kind of, is it more excitement or fear, or what are you looking forward to the most about getting over there and setting up sticks? Because you're going to go live with Darren for a bit, is it? You're going set up beside the Etihad, which is handy too, I suppose. So what is it about that kind of? Are you looking forward to it, or what's the emotion, James?
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed really. Younger brothers and stuff, so I'm going to try to get back as much as I can to them and stuff like that. But it's kind of, I'm very excited because I suppose doing it differently to what has been done before and stuff like that, and just the way things are done over there. It's very exciting, but then the same factor, at the same time as it, don't want to be coming home like, in 2 years, nothing happened, but just give them a best shot over there.
What's your short-term goal? So
short-term goal, try make the 21s this year and maybe even get in a first team appearance.
Because you were saying there about the standard, like, you obviously played those trial games earlier this year. Like, is it League of Ireland standards? Is it that high, or is it even a bit higher? Or?
It's very good, to be fair. I was surprised when I went over, because when you see 7 tier, you think, oh, mustn't be great. But then when you go over and see the speed of the players, like, there's about 30 on the squad, and I'd say about 10 of them are from Manchester, and the rest are from Ivory Coast, Greece, Brazil, all over Europe and all over the world. And like, they all come to get the education to speak English. Yeah. All the Ivory Coast and all from Ghana, Nigeria, all them. And it's just amazing over there, the culture. Kind of long term, so you'd hope to kind of carve out a career in football for yourself. Yeah, well, after the 2 years with FC, if I feel I'm not after getting high enough, I'll just go to America, do the 4 years over there, and then build up the CV more and more. Sure, after 2 years in Manchester and 4 years over, after having America and Manchester done all, I'll be 23 then. So I'll have a good enough CV built up, and I'll see what I'll do then. You probably feel too it's an opportunity that you can't turn down. It's the chance to play for like FC United, kind of even develop more, learn more, kind of progress your game in a country that's mad about football, in a club that knows what it's doing. So like, you probably feel that you just couldn't say no to this chance when it came along. No, I couldn't. No, and like, just everything about it is just perfect. The hours of education, because I wasn't really a big fan of school in it, and then obviously the travelling was huge, going down to Cove, especially for Dad, with the farm and all that, and driving up and getting petrol every day. And whereas in FC, it's just hop on the tram, 10 minutes on the tram for about £2, and you're at training and home again. It's just so much easier and so much better. Even at that, even though it is Manchester, it's still very close to home. You hop on a plane, you're home in an hour, so it's not too far. So I think going to Manchester, I'll probably be home more than if I was in Dublin, because I think you have 1 hour drive to the airport and 1 hour on the plane instead of 4 hours driving. So yeah, it's not too bad. What your friends thinking about you heading off, kind of seeing the world? They're not too bad. I said they'll all be heading off to college anyway, so we're grand. Oh, great stuff. Come here, James. Thank you so much for coming into the studio today for a chat about your adventures. But I want to wish you the best of luck. I know you're shooting off soon. You've pre-season and it'll be league games before you know it. So very best of luck, and we'll check in with you throughout the season. Thanks very much. Thank you for listening to the Star Sports Podcast. Don't forget to pick up this week's Southern Star, featuring our award-winning sports section that has everything a sports fan in West Cork could want. Available every Thursday in shops across West Cork and online from anywhere in the world. The Southern Star, #1 for sport in West Cork.